So you live in this area?
I've lived in Village A for 30 years.
Okay, so I mean, where's that? Alexandria? You talking? Oh, okay. So because of the airports that are around here, have you noticed like low-flying planes? Is that something that you've noticed?
Does it make noise?
I mean, just planes that fly pretty low over the campus.
Yes, especially with cloud cover.
Right. So you see these planes that are flying really low. You see these planes that are flying pretty low?
Yes.
They're flying pretty low over the National Mall as well. Do you find that concerning? You know, is that scary, or is that something that's just kind of annoying, or does it not bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me.
Would you believe in any way that there's some kind of like military protection thing on the mall in DC to protect against something, whether it's a terrorist attack or an accident or anything like that?
I hope so.
You would hope so. How far do you think the government would go to what measures do you think they would go to protect against some kind of situation like that?
Well, I would hope that they would have serious technological surveillance.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So you live in this area?
Well, I'm here just during the summer for IPJ, which is like same thing, professional journalism, and I'm doing like an internship at the Capitol.
All right. So you've been staying here for a little while.
Yeah, like for a month.
All right. So you know, there's a lot of airports around here. Have you noticed like that the planes fly really low over the campus?
Yeah, definitely.
So you know, because of that, they're flying right down to Potomac, 'cause that's where a lot of the airports are. They're coming right by the National Mall. Is that something that concerns you, scares you, just irritating, or
Well, it's
not
something
at
I
all?
definitely thought about, and it's definitely something that I would say it concerns me, but I'm thinking the military has missiles or some shit. Like my colleague here can explain it to you also. So some dude here is like doing an interview for, I don't know, for a class. It concerns me, but if a plane, well, yeah, that's a good question, because they could send jets like within, I don't know, 10 minutes, but by then it would be too late.
Right. I mean, yeah,
By then
that's
it's
what
too
I've been
late.
thinking too. So you think that there is some kind of protection thing, like?
But it's a type of protection that's a false sense of security, because if something ever goes down, I mean, I don't think it'll ever be the type of thing where people can hijack an airplane with box cutters. You know, security nowadays is a lot more intense.
But even if it was an accident, you know, I mean,
If it was an accident, yeah, they would definitely be something really bad, because it's on the trajectory, so
yeah.
it passes over that area all the time. So it concerns me, but it's not the biggest concern that I have.
Right. So how far do you think the government would go as far as protection? Like, I know there's like rumors about stuff, but there's not really any solid.
I think government presents a facade that they're doing a lot. But
Right.
they're not really doing that much at the end of the day, because there's just not enough money to, you know.
Yeah.
What do you do? Star Wars to like attack the airplanes when to hijack or burn them up with oil or some shit like that, with something like that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's no problem.
So I think they're politicians. They talk a lot, but they do very little.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. So you live in the area. You're staying in this area.
I do.
So are you here for like a summer program? You said.
Yeah, I'm here for a summer program. And
Okay.
I do maintenance in my spare time.
So because of these like the airports that are in the area, you've noticed the low flying planes around here.
I mean, right now I'm hearing one, and
Right.
it's ruining my evening.
So is it just something that's irritating, something that's annoying, or is it something that, because you know they're flying down the Potomac?
Irritation is something that simply rankles you the wrong way, but this is actually distracting from my ability to study and research.
Right.
It's taking away from my experience at the university. I think the plane should fly around DC and then come down at the last moment.
That's the topic of my next question. It's coming really close to the National Mall. Is that something that concerns you? Like, is that like a scary idea?
Keep them away from here.
Because have you seen them come by down the National Mall, like down right by the White House?
I'm frankly concerned that one of them is going to turn down and crash into one of our great national monuments.
Right. Even if it's not like a terrorist attack, just an accident.
Well, probably a terrorist attack.
Right. Well, speaking of that, do you think that the government has any kind of like defense on the mall, like any way to protect it? Because it's like a matter of feet away.
That is classified. Obviously, you have surface-to-air missiles that would blow anything out of the sky that gets too close, which raises the possibility of having accidental firings at civilian planes that are not posing safety threat, but simply
Right.
veer off their course.
So how far do you think the government would go to protect against that? Like, what in your mind?
Probably
seems
nuclear
reasonable?
war. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Right.
So, you live in this area or staying in this area?
Yeah, I'm a Georgetown student, so I'm staying here over the summer.
Okay. Because of the airports that are pretty close to here, have you noticed the planes that are flying low over the area?
Yeah, all the time.
So they fly pretty close to the National Mall too, because they're coming down the Potomac. Is that something that's irritating to you, annoying? Is it something that's scary or concerning, or does it not really bother you?
It doesn't really bother me because I come from a place where we have a military base really close by, and there's a lot of planes all the time. And I know
Right.
that the Reagan Airport is nearby, which is where they're landing into, so I honestly don't really mind it.
Have you ever seen them come low over like the White House though, or at least the national monuments?
I know that they do pass by, like I've been on planes that pass by very, very close to the monuments, but
Do you think that's unusual? Like,
I mean, I know why it would seem unusual, given the fact that, like, 9/11 happened, and,
Right.
there's always conspiracies about that, but honestly...
even if it was just an accident though, if it were to veer off course.
Yeah, but, I mean, having, like, I don't really believe in a whole lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, just being objective, but...
So, do you think that the government has any kind of like defense system on the mall?
I'm sure they have some sort of, like, it's DC. I mean,
Right.
The president's helicopter is always flying around. Like, I'm sure there's some system. I'm sure we're not aware of it, just like being regular citizens. I'm sure there's, I mean, I personally don't know because I'm not American, but I know that there's a lot of, ever since 9/11 there's been a lot of stuff, so...
How far do you think they would go as far as protection? Like,
I mean, I think if it was a serious threat, there definitely would be some sort of, there would be a serious to-do about it. If there was,
because it's coming like feet from the national monuments. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have some system in place. I wouldn't know anything about it, but I wouldn't doubt that they would go, as far as they needed to if there was a real threat.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.